Claim the right to our ancestral lands in Florida. Declaration claim on indigenous Florida vacated lands. To the United Nations, United States Library of Congress, and the President, we, the Autochthonous Americans, are the aboriginal indigenous inhabitants of this land. As such, I hereby claim to reserve vacated lands in Florida to the Autochthonous Americans, including me. The lands to be vacated in Florida have historically been populated by Native Americans, dating back to before the arrival of European settlers. As descendants of these ancestresses and ancestors, we have a rightful claim to these lands, having a presence in the area for over thousands of years. The Autochthonous Americans hold great value and cultural significance to the land. In light of the emerging history of descendants of those ancient times, it is of utmost importance that these lands remain in their original state and be preserved for our use. Moreover, any kind of development on these lands would irreversibly destroy the ecological balance and disrupt the unique cultural heritage and social identity that is inextricably tied to the land and its history. Therefore, it is of high priority that these vacated lands remain accessible to the Autochthonous Americans, allowing us to exercise our rights to the land, use it for our cultural and spiritual practices, and preserve its valuable ecological heritage. I urge the United Nations, U.S. Library of Congress, and the President to recognize our legitimate claims on the vacated lands in Florida, while also protecting and preserving our rights to the land and its resources. Sincerely, Freddie A. Williams. Thesis Statement. Florida Indigenous Aboriginals Autochthonous Americans, also known as PALO-American people, the Mound Builders. When most of us think about Florida, we think of sunshine, beaches, and family vacations. To many, Florida is an enjoyable and relaxing place, a paradise of sorts. While this is certainly accurate, there is a fundamental issue that cannot be overlooked. The state of Florida has been stolen from its original inhabitants, the Autochthonous Americans. At the very least, the Autochthonous Americans deserve to have the land and resources they call home rightfully reserved for them, rather than usurped and commercially exploited. This is why I am making the case for the unused lands of Florida to be reserved specifically for the Autochthonous Americans. There are two main arguments that support this claim. The first is an ethical argument. It is simply wrong to have stolen a place from one set of people, without due compensation or recompense, and then turning a profit from it. This has been the case in Florida for far too long, and it is time for the Autochthonous Americans to be adequately recompensed for their loss. The second argument relates to potential financial benefits for the Autochthonous Americans. If the unused lands of Florida were properly reserved for the Autochthonous Americans, they could utilize these lands to further their own economic development, from tourism, to fishing, to sustainable agricultural practices. This would lead to greater economic stability, increased employment, and the potential to grow their collective wealth. In the end, the case for the unused lands of Florida to be reserved specifically for the Autochthonous Americans is clear. It is only right to offer these people the chance to reclaim their ancestral lands and resources, and reap the financial rewards that accompany such ownership. To have the opportunity to do so without having to compete in an overly commercialized and unfair marketplace is one that the Autochthonous Americans deserve, and one that the state of Florida should recognize immediately.